The Patara earrings, when worn by two individuals, can forcibly fuse them into some of the strongest beings in all of the galaxy. Now, Fuse Zamasu, making his return from Set 2 into the Set 3 meta of Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, hopes to hold his own as the sole control deck of the meta. Now, can he hold his own? Find out today on Phil Plays TCG. Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG, and today I am joined by a very special guest. We have Dane Reichenbach here, arguably one of the best Dragon Ball players in the US, primarily in the Midwest. He is a Dragon Ball Super Masters player, but he has now been going into the Fusion World format, and he has been doing amazingly well in it. And today we are going over his Fused Zamasu deck list. Dane, thank you so much for hopping on the channel.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, my true love is for Masters, but Fusion World does get better each set. I'm really, there's just a lot more room for growth. I just wish we could negate. That's kind of my big thing. I want to be able to tell someone no, but
yeah,
I'm lucky that my favorite character is at least within my playstyle of like heavy control. So there's a whole lot of Zamasu memorabilia behind me and Goku Black stuff down here. And so we're just able to do it. I have not lost a locals in set 3 yet with this deck. So it's kind of crazy.
I'm very excited. As soon as you saw that I saw that you had won your locals with Zamasu, I'm like, okay, hold on. I need to see what he's cooking here because I love Zamasu. I love the deck. I just felt like in the set 3 meta, it was going to kind of fall a little short, especially with a lot of green coming around. But obviously you found a list that you're happy with, and your locals has a lot of great players. I know that for a fact. So
it's a tough locals, man. Like I am really, it's very annoying sometimes. And I'm like, oh, so like that's my round one. Like, all right, okay. But yeah, well, I'll definitely be putting up a video later this week or early next on my channel going over like what changed for Zamasu a lot in set 3. Obviously, today we'll get into some of that. But I wanted to go over, a more in-depth setup for like the current meta, the individual matchups and stuff. So, but we've got a beautiful deck list to go through for you today.
I'm excited. I love shiny blue cards. It's going to be a good time. So before we hop into the video, though, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you go over to Dane's channel. Make sure you go subscribe to him. Make sure you go also follow him on twitch.tv/Dane Reich, where he streams very, very often. I try to catch him whenever I can, but yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the deck profile, man. All right, we see the shiny boy Fuse Zamasu here, so take it away, Dane.
This is the guy. This is the control deck of Fusion World. If you want to stay alive as long as possible, this is how you're going to do it. Zamasu is a really simple leader in all contexts because you actually spend basically all of the game on the front side. On the front side, when you attack, you draw a card. When you have 3 or less life, you draw 1 and flip over. On the backside, you are a base 25k, so alongside like Broly and Jiren, you do get that little bit of a buff, right? So the only leaders that are going to match you are going to be the Jiren, Broly, and Bardock attacking offensively. And so right there, right off the bat, everybody's got to give you cards to get through. And then you have an activate main once per turn for 1. You can discard a card from your hand. If you have 2 or less life, you can actually regen 1 off the top of your deck. So getting back life, realistically, what that will amount to is that if you just take a single strike at any point during that course of the game, you can pay 1 to just get it back and just effectively negate an attack. When you actually think about how hand advantage works, you'll discard the same card that you picked up, so you're just paying 1 to stop an attack, which is generally what you do at the beginning of the game, right? Like when you're comboing Trunkses and using Gallic guns, that's how you're getting alive. So it's the same thing at the end of the game, but now you're just swinging 25, but you don't generate that additional draw power.
Right, I gotcha.
So we try to stay on the front side as long as possible, and if you're a real one, you will use the original leader's front side because the other one is ugly, and you'll use the back side of the alt art because it's gold.
Oh, exactly.
There's a lot of leaders that we do that for.
Yeah, pro gamer strat right there.
This is what I call my advantage engine, my protect myself, I guess. It's nothing too crazy. It's very standard for blue, but realistically, we're looking at 4 Trunks, 4 Pilaf is in just about every single blue deck at 4. And then Goten is down that new 2 of. It's nothing crazy, but it is a Goten target because we do play a couple of Gotenks in the list. It's a 10k. Occasionally he can be an attacker at the beginning of the game, right? Like if you just go, all right, turn 2, play him, draw a card, swing with it, because he'll eat an attack that they put out unless they have additional removal, which if they have additional removal, then so be it, right? Like that's kind of, you just wouldn't play it if you expect that they're going to do that. And then the best card being Gallic Gun. Just being able to go up to a 30k on your front side or a 40k on the back. This can supplement and get you out of boss monster base attacks. It can get like huge numbers really quickly with like a super combo in tow, right? Like someone tries to push that random double strike from 4 to 2, and you're just like, all right, Gallic Gun super combo, and then suddenly you're at 50k. Like it can be really, really hard to deal that damage if you're holding on to Gallic Guns at the right time. The hard part for Gallic Gun is that it does screw up your curve a lot of the times, and so you do have to be careful about like if you draw a lot of them quickly, sometimes you just have to accept that you're going to need to charge them to make sure that you're hitting your curve still.
Right.
But you know, Trunks is literally draw a card, and I don't know if a card has ever needed an alt art as badly as Pilaf does.
Oh my god, please let us get a tournament reprint or something of that card.
It's so crazy that there's just nothing for this card, but you know, like that new Hercule has an alt art.
The champ, of course, the champ's got to have one.
Yeah, a couple extra 1-drops to just like supplement the strategies of the deck are going to be these. So I do play 4 of these Zamasu that just bottom decks a 1 cost. Obviously on turn 1, if you go second, you can just go, all right, Zamasu, get rid of something. But I think a lot more practically, there's a lot of times where it's like, turn 2, you go, my Zamasu, get rid of the Khalifa you just played, right? Mm-hmm. Or you go, Vegito, get rid of a 2, and then Zamasu lets you get rid of another 2. It's obviously a 10k, so it's really not very detrimental. It's super important in, say, like the Cell matchup to be able to get rid of 1-drop Earthlings. If you're playing into certain red matchups, like you just cannot let a Whis that has them activate main to -5 live on the board very long. So he's very useful for that. We have the 1 of Goten. This is not a good card, but because it is a name and it's like a 10k, and then there are random situations where it's like, all right, well, I'm on turn 4. My opponent has a 2 and a 3 cost, and I go Vegito, get rid of the 2, and then I can Goten, bounce the 1. Like that stuff does or the 2 does come up, and so it really helps you get into that tempo. And since it's a 1-drop Earthling, we're only going to play 1. Mai is the card. This was at 1, and then Gohan 4-drop came out, which we'll definitely get to, and now it's at 2. And sometimes I consider getting it to 3, but I'm already on a 53 card list. So,
ooh, yeah. No, Mai actually surprisingly puts in work.
She's really, really strong. The big change for this deck and all blue decks for the immediate future is going to be for Videl. She's just crazy, right? When you're swinging, you add back Earthlings. She's how you maintain advantage, and I think this is what fixes the green matchup. So you already had like an okay Broly matchup because they could never go wide. Like that's just not what the deck can do. But against, say, like green androids, you couldn't. You would they would go super duper wide on you, and then you wouldn't have any opportunity. You're just trading 1 damage per turn effectively if we're comboing out and they're taking it. But Videl puts the screws on them and immediately starts pressuring. And since she's like a 2 cost, green doesn't have a really great way to remove her except via battle. And so since she's adding back the card, she can always at least pay for her own protection, and then potentially you just give up 1 more and then she adds it back again, replacing it. So super excellent card at the end of the game, right? She grabs back Pilafs and like begins looping again, even if you used all 4. Just a super ridiculous card.
Now, one thing I've been seeing a lot of people talk about, and I won't lie, I have been kind of mulling over this idea too. A lot of people are saying that Videl isn't as good as we thought she was. Certainly in the, a lot of my playing with Blue Goku lately, a big problem that comes up is the lack of combo power. Now, what do you say to people that are kind of deciding to put her down to maybe 2 of, or maybe just taking her out of the deck entirely?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to look at it like this, is that there are matchups where she is not that great. Like, you're not swinging Videl into a Jiren that's already flipped over very frequently, right? Like, that's not her purpose. Her purpose is that at the beginning of the game, into those matchups where you need to apply pressure or they're not going to have like an immediate set of removal, basically non-blue, she is a huge amount of pressure and she draws over and over and over again. And also, she takes away attention from your leader. If your opponent is attacking with their 25s into a Videl, you can protect her with a 10, whereas this, you were going to have to give up a Gallic, a Super, or take the damage. Right? So it's really about the attack redirection, the immediate draw card, and then also that pressure, because blue doesn't have a problem closing the game. It has a problem getting them to a closing position, right? When you think about that green matchup, what would happen is you go, all right, well, I'm at 7 and they're at 4. This is great, except that they're starting to push 45s down your throat and you're still swinging at 25. That's just the way it is. But if you can put them to 3 to 2 before that position actually gets there, suddenly you're actually able to go, all right, well, now my Goku Black means something, right? Playing a Goku Black when they're at 4, they're just like, okay, I'll take 1 and then combo out of the next hit, right? Like, no problem. But Videl helps you close that gap and apply that pressure. Not to mention the fact that early game, she can be like a turn 2 board pressure, right? If you're playing into like yellow Frieza, or really any deck that has like a 2-cost Frieza out, or they swung with their Khalifa crit, she just draws you a card and makes them lose one. Like, I can't fathom how that would be bad. I do understand that people are upset about the zeros, but really Goku has a much harder issue with that, right? Like, high schools just got more zeros because it's on 4 Gohans and it's on 4 high schools and tons of extra cards that don't do much. But this deck is not the same. I think if you're playing this or Vegeta, I think you should basically be on 4 Videls. Vegeta, because it's playing the crit, could maybe get away with like 2 or 3, but
okay.
For Zamasu, where you're trying to play the longest game possible, drawing a card is infinitely better than being a 20 crit, even for the 5K.
Very true. Okay, I dig it.
Blue staple at this point in the mid game is going to be Vegito. Bottom deck's 1 cost, right? Quotations. On play, and then realistically it gets rid of a 2. And then the fact that it's like a 25-3 is like very difficult to remove super early game. But then at the end of the game, it's like, okay, well, now this card's just dying every time I play it. And so there's a lot of turns where, like, if you have him set up, suddenly your next turn plays become extremely strong. So generally, I don't recommend swinging with him unless you know that they do not have an answer or a removal, right? Like, if you're playing against... Nope, everybody's got an answer now. That's I can't even think. I was about to think of one, but everybody's got an answer now. So, like, don't swing if you don't have to.
Exactly.
At least if you're trying to set up a play.
Exactly.
We've got our 4-drop suite. So we've got 3 of our new Gohans. This is a basic set of removal. It's a huge tempo play, because if you think about the matchups that you're really trying to overcome here, it's going to be a lot of black and red right now. And if you're able to just like get rid of 2 bodies with 1 card, I mean, that's just like as good as it gets. The fact that it's a 30K is super relevant, right? A lot of 25s are just demanding 1 card, but once you get to 30, then into these 20K leaders, hey, you got to give me a super or 2 cards or like a 15K extra.
Yep.
And so it does become very difficult for people to deal with. I would like to run 4, but realistically, because it does not immediately answer 4 costs on its own, right? Like, you can't just do it on curve after they played their 4, unless Vegito stuck around, which, like, most 4s in the game will remove Vegito, or like they create a thing that allows you to remove Vegito. So you can't really justify more. Definitely make sure that when you're on the backside, you're going to charge this card a lot in the early game, but like if you do get flipped over, you can just pay 1 to discard him and then grab it back with a Goku Black later. So you don't have to over combo the 0 or have to play it for them to kill it first.
Okay.
2 Fuse Zamasu, good into green, kind of okay into yellow, and pretty bad against a lot of other decks.
Yeah.
But man, is it good into green, right? Like, I mean, 25K draw card. Like, if you're playing into green for real, and you get to like go second and you just like marker jam a Zamasu, like if you have a Dell, draw a card, because right, she swings, draws, and then just on 4 you just slam Zamasu, what are they doing? You're drawing 2 cards a turn, protecting your board every turn. The first time they'd be able to remove this is turn 8, right? Like, unless they're doing like double big bang attack and they're losing 2 energy.
That's true. Ooh.
It's, yeah, like, for real, they can't do it until they've got 8 energy, and it's like then a Cell or a Broly into like swing into it is how they kill it, right? In which case then, like, not only is he eating the removal of it, so maybe your other cards on board are safe, but he's also eating an attack, meaning you don't have to give up a super combo and a card. Ridiculous card when the time comes. It's just unfortunate that when KO'd is a very specific type of removal.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The whole, like, red minusing it down to 0 hurts a lot. Blue just bottom decking it hurts, but Yeah, against every other color right now, it's pretty darn good, and absolutely is
Pretty good.
It is actually one of my favorite alt art cards in this game for sure.
It's definitely, I love the pink behind him is great. So he's definitely a really good card. We only play 2 because most of the time you're only playing him right on curve in like the alternate world and reality where like you go against green and you like have the ability to play second. And if you're not playing against droids, you usually have to play a Gohan. Right. So like a lot of the times you're not be able to play it, but we do play it at 2 still. Goku Black can always just grab it when you combo it off early, or you can just play him outright if you happen to draw him on that curve. And then lastly, we're on 2 Gotenks. This is for sure the worst of them, but there are tons of situations where drawing 2 specific cards is better than drawing 1 random card.
Right.
Right. It's just going to be 15k in this deck. I don't play any 10k Trunkses, but just adding 2 individual cards going up to 9 cards in hand is really good, just because this game a lot of times is about number of cards in hand, not necessarily total combo power, right? How many times are you sitting on 4 super combos but your opponent just puts out 5 attacks? It doesn't matter if they're super combos, you literally can't get out of that 5th attack.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, I like Gotenks a lot.
He's good in that he's like an immediate draw. Like if you assume that they can remove Zamasu immediately, there's just no reason. Like this is both of the effects of Zamasu, but it happens immediately, and then it's not a conditional like on swing, like if you got stunned against yellow or something. And so this card can be really, really good, but I do think it is the worst of these 3 on average.
Understandable.
For the boss monsters of the deck, it's a pretty simple lineup. We're on 2 Goku Black and 2 Vegito. There's a argument to make for like 1 Vegeta double strike, but so frequently when I play a singleton boss monster, you open it and you're like, I have 7 cards the whole game. I can't afford to hold on to this, and you just have to charge it right away.
Yeah.
And so it feels terrible to have to do that, and especially since like most of the reason to add the double strike is not for the double strike, but for the fact that it's removal on a big body, right? Like a more permanent removal than bouncing the hand with Vegito, or bottom decking with like play Gohan or something. Is just, it's hard to justify. Whereas these 2 cards, like they come down and they always make a huge impact immediately. Whereas Vegeta sometimes is like, yeah, you get rid of like a 3 cost, but then they just go super combo and get out. Right, this card demands like 2 super combos, sets them back tempo. If you have Pilafs, you can go huge and just start making everything 40k. And then likewise, Goku Black can either set up a huge advantage turn using Zamasu or Gotenks, or even like playing out of Adele, or it can do a huge amount of pressure and tempo play with Gohan getting rid of board state. Goku Black is for sure crazy. It's just hard to justify another 0 that is played so late in the game. Right. Whereas like once you have 3, it's like, yeah, you feel more comfortable charging it in the beginning of the game, but like that also means that you're more likely to draw it at the beginning of the game. So I've really been happy with 2-2. You can just look at it like if you're playing a matchup where you have to be like a huge aggressor, you just don't charge this. Okay. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I gotcha. It definitely feels like Vegito has much more of a reason to be played in this current meta. He's just so good, like you mentioned, messing with your opponent's tempo, having 2 big 30k swings, and just Blue's able to be a little bit more aggressive this set, which I really like.
Certainly, and it's like one of those things where like the only color that removes it, like if you did it 4 and a marker for him, like the only color that can answer it on their immediate 5 is like red, right? I'm pretty sure it's like just red, or like a green that's super high rolled ramp maybe.
Right. Yep.
Like it's a really difficult card to remove for that, and so when you can just like get that double pressure, or like they have to immediately respond with their own Vegito and bounce it back. But if you are doing the Vegito wars back and forth, the first player to play one is winning because they got the 2 cards immediately, and then they get to play it next and go again.
Yep. That's awesome. Didn't think of that.
Like the first one to play it in the Vegito war wins. And so actual removal is important, which is why we are still on 4 Zenos. I get it. There's less green now. What? No. 10k? Board wipe? Viable attacker.
Yeah. It's Blue's oh shit button.
Yeah, like this is how you get out of tons of games, right? Like why sickle for, getting rid of like let's say you're playing against Black or something, right? They've consistently got a secret rare and like a 3-drop Goku or Bardock on board. Yeah, you could sickle, but sickle's just like a -1, and then you might like peel off or something. Obviously, there's going to be situations, but the second they've got a third card on board, playing this is way more valuable, right? Or you can keep your hand size up because you're not doing like my Gohan to get rid of both or something. Right. This is just a hugely tempo-based card. It's how you answer Green's big boss monsters super consistently. And since it's just a 20k attack, you just get to go. If you cut it down, I promise what'll happen is like, you're like, oh, okay, I've got 2. And then you see it at the beginning of the game and you're like, oh, this is the only 10k I can give up right now. And then suddenly the moment you need a Zeno, you don't have it. So
yep,
like
that's happened.
This is the card this is the card that decides when I win and lose games, like all the time. A lot of these other ones have other cards that can kind of be them, right? Like Videls and Pilafs are like advantage cards, and Goku Blacks and Vegetos and Gotenks and whatever are draw power and pressure. There is nothing in this deck that can compete with a full board wipe, including Fields. So that's my argument for it. Play 4 Zeno if you're playing a real control deck. No less than 3 if you're playing any other blue deck, I think.
For sure.
In that same removal suite, we are playing 3 Sickles and 2 Absolute Lightning. I think Sickle is broken, right? I think we all know Sickle is broken. It's just like required to beat black and red right now. It does slightly get better when you have like a Mai or a Vegito to pair it with, so it can be really strong like that. But then I do supplement it with Lightning. Some people are on like just straight up 4 Sickles, but I think that the reason you would play a 4th Sickle is to answer the turn, like the on curve SCR or 4-drop Jiren. But Lightning also answers that, and the chances that they've like kept another like super impactful card on board is not super high. But switching over from 1 Sickle to 1 second Lightning gives you a much better green matchup, because if they start slamming like double strike Android 17-18 right away, Lightning snipe it away and then just establish more defense is way better. Or like Lightning Videl. Also, the best part about Videl is that it allows you to actually do pressure when you actually pressure people when you use these cards. Like turn 5 Sickle plus play Videl. It feels so ridiculous.
Ooh, lordy, agreed. No, like I really like. I didn't run Sickle for my first couple builds because I'm like, oh, Vegito and Gohan will get this done plenty. And I learned very much the hard way that no, you need to run Sickle still, because you're not guaranteed to hit those 4 costs, and with 4 costs being so popular in the meta right now, yeah, you need it. Plus, Absolute Lightning. I was running it as a 1 of. I bumped it up to 2, and it has made the difference. Sometimes your opponent has a 5-cost card that you can't feasibly get rid of, but you have a Absolute Lightning. Just drop it, and get rid of it, and then move on.
Or it has the same effect as those singleton double strikers. Is like in your opening hand of like Videls and Pilafs and Trunkses and like 1-drop Zamasus that you like have to use to make sure that you're tempoing and curving with your opponent.
Right.
You can't afford to keep this. You have 4 cards in hand, dude. What are you doing? Like, charge it. But if you have 2, then all of a sudden it doesn't feel so terrible, and you can always grab it back with Goku Black and whatnot. So This is definitely the way. And I think that making sure that you are playing cards that can answer their curve if you don't have setup is very important, because yeah, we all ideally want to have Vegito out on 3 and then Gohan on 4 and get rid of their Goku and like a Bardock or a Goku they played prior. But in reality, they went 10 times Kamehameha and killed your Vegito. So, bleh.
Oof, big sad.
That's the last bit of the removal, and then big shock, 4 super combos.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. 20k. That's it. Another thing that I don't love about this game is that board like super combos frequently directly translates to like keeping board state alive, which is how you win games in Fusion World. Like board state living. And so like if you don't draw your super combos at the right time, you just feel terrible, because it's like, all right, well, they swung a 30 into my 20, but if that 20 is a Videl, it's hard to justify giving up 2 cards, but if I can just always super combo out, it's like, oh, wow, that's an easy decision.
Yeah, I feel like playing Fusion World for as long as I have now, in comparison to Masters, you always felt like your super combos could be, or were equally good with attacking or defense. But in this game, it just feels like if you're using it for attack, you feel bad. Yeah,
you have to be dumping for game to ever do it. I think that both are obviously very important to like have them, but I think I've kind of figured it out, is that only in Masters in like aggro decks does seeing all 4 super combos feel that bad because there's a long enough time to like offset advantage just because of the way the game functions. Like there's more opportunity for skill expression than hitting like curve, right? Whereas in this game, since it is only defensive and so much of our removal is still combat based, having super combos is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really covers it. My basic advice, if you just want to play Zamasu, is that if you can get out of an attack for 1 card, you do it.
Okay. I like it. That's
the ultimate key.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, so we talked about how, what's good matchups, what are bad matchups. Just kind of reiterating, what are the best matchups for this deck?
Certainly red is kind of like the easiest one. Like I think Jiren is probably in the line of the harder red matchups. Just because like the 25k base leader can be really pesky and that like Videl becomes kind of worthless at the end of the game. And likewise, you have to answer a 4-drop every turn. Obviously, you can answer it, but just because you are answering their 30k Jiren that might have probably dealt the damage unless you're already on the backside, there's a good chance that you have to like sickle it away and you're taking a damage and then going 1-for-1 on card advantage with them, right? Like that doesn't feel super great. But like at the same time, you can also overcome them because how does Jiren remove a Goku Black?
Right.
How does Jiren, like they can Rumshi a Vegito, but if like you Vegito back a thing and then they Rumshi, you feel really good just getting rid of the Rumshi with any number of cards. So I think that's there. Black is still probably even. If they see their curve and you can't remove Goku on like the secret rare right on curve, that's pretty rough. Green is still your worst matchup, but like not by a lot anymore because Videl allows you to be more aggressive and has pressure in the end of the game, even after you go Zeno and Absolute Lightning. That was a big issue, is that like you would Lightning and then your best play would be like Vegito just go 25. But Videl grabbing back a Pilaf that could then start a whole new loop of advantage is way more advantageous than just like slamming that. I think the yellow matchup. Oh, actually, that's the actual best matchup is yellow because endgame yellow, I'll say, has a lot better blue matchup now at the very end of the game because Wicked Explosion can just like tap your Pilaf brigade that you just like set out to try to live for the turn, right?
Oh yeah.
But if you don't get to that point, if you just stay at a high life total, you're going to be fine. So in that matchup, that's definitely a matchup where, since they swing 25 so much, having all of your Gallic guns is super important. But realistically, I think this deck is for sure tier 1. I wouldn't necessarily call it the best deck in the room, right? I think both the black decks are just like a little better and have like an overall better matchup spread. But like, dude, this deck is so good. I think it's like as good as High School Goku, if not better. Like I don't understand why no one's playing this at all.
Yeah, see, going over this list, I'm over here like, God, kind of want to like build this on the sim and play it right away because I loved playing this deck. It never felt good when we had a more green focused meta, but with the new support we've gotten, like you said, yeah, that difference in our bad matchup has gotten a lot smaller, and it has a really good matchup into every other color. So dang, yeah, I'm gonna have to test this out for sure, man.
Here's my thought on this versus Blue Goku. Yeah. I don't think this applies to Vegeta as much because Vegeta has an extremely aggressive, format. Like its backside is just so different. But if you're just trying to play a control deck, Goku versus that, if I'm going to have 7 cards in hand, I'd much rather have 7 life and 7 cards in hand than have to be at 4 before my deck starts doing anything.
Right.
Because if you're at 4 life and 7 cards in hand, all they have to do is produce the correct number of attacks to go off and kill you. Like you can't offset like, okay, well, I just lost my whole hand. Well, guess what? Now they're going to hit me and I'm finally picking up life again. And now I'm back to 7. If you're at Goku and you're at 7, you kind of have like a max hand size. You hit 7 and that's it. In Zamasu, regularly, they finally start hitting you and you go back up to 10. And then that's when you just Zeno and take full control of the game.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Oh man, yeah, you sold me. I'm probably gonna build this deck again and bring it to locals. This seems really, really cool. Our locals is primarily black though, so
no, that's totally fine. You've got 5 on curve answers to Goku. Don't forget, you've got 5 of them in deck. Not to mention the fact that you could have like the setup of, a prior Vegito or whatever random little bits there, right? Like, I mean, I guess technically you could double my Goten. Seems a little odd to do that, but you could do it.
Worst case scenario,
there are answers. Yeah, like I think this deck is very flexible, and I think people really just need to give it a shot. And all hail.
There you go. That's awesome, man. Well, I think that will do it for the deck profile. Any shout outs you want to give out?
Of course, yeah. Everyone, much like Jamaid, over to Viral. Yes, that's right. I have locals with Jamaid. So make sure to check out Viral card games if you're ever in Minnesota. Everyone that is in Minnesota that is constantly talking and playtesting and just having a good time. My immediate team, Checkmate Fusion. And then, of course, over to myself. I do stream twitch.tv/Dane Reich. I'm sure all of the stuff will be in the description for you to read that. I have a YouTube channel as well. You can check out my videos there for both Master and Fusion World. It's a lot more Masters discussion and deck profiles and then Fusion World gameplay. But there are occasional Fusion World discussions. Like I said, expect a larger breakdown of Zamasu in the coming weeks.
Heck yeah, I love it. Like I said, Dane is one of the best players when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super card game around. He is incredibly talented. Helped me do as well as I did in my last regional after staying up late with me rebuilding my Android 21 deck. So that was...
And then proceeding to, unfortunately, beat you in round 2. Yeah, I recall. My bad.
No, it's all good. It's my luck. That's how it happens. But perfect. Awesome, guys. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. We're on our way to 3,000 sub. Let's get Dane some love. Get Dane some subs. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye-bye.